Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the weekly time frame. I have the Gaussian channel pulled up here. And if you've been following along with myself and others, you should be well familiar with the pattern we're following. Let me go back to other cycles where we've come off the bottom. Typically, we come off the bottom and break through the weekly Gaussian channel. Here back in 2015, we once we broke above the mean band, came up to the top of the Gaussian channel. Here we tested the mean band, the range between the mean band and the top of the Gaussian channel before finally breaking out. Now this doesn't look like very much, but from the top of the Gaussian channel to the top of this wick here, that's 30% move. Just to give you some perspective there. Over here in 2019, we shot right through the Gaussian channel without spending much time here. And I've shown on another video that the rate at which we broke through from the bottom up here was inconsistent with the slope of the accumulation distribution indicator. So that's why we failed to maintain this and came back down here into the Gaussian channel before COVID finally took us down through the bottom. Now, when we did come back up, we spent more time testing the area between the mean band and the top of the Gaussian channel before finally breaking out into our bull run. As back here in 2015, we broke right out. We did come back down and test the top of the Gaussian channel and continue our bull run here without much of a drawdown here. And that's also because the slope of the accumulation distribution graph was steep and consistent with the price moves we were making on the price chart. And the slope of the accumulation distribution, which I have shown in a previous video and will show later on, is steeper currently than in 2015-16 and should help us maintain our move upward that we are making currently. So currently we have come up off of our bottom, broken into the Gaussian channel here, the weekly, and came through the mean band and have been consolidating here in the mean band for many, many months, as I'm sure you are all very aware of. Now, this consolidation is coming to a head, and the volatility on many different time frames is very, very low. And I believe we've been consolidating longer than we have in historically in the chart of Bitcoin. Now, what's very, very positive is that we've been hit with a lot of bad news. Not bad news, but attacks that have created fear and uncertainty in the market. And despite all of that, we have not broken down from this range, have not even come below the mean band of the Gaussian channel here. Now, I've extended the mean band and the top of the Gaussian channel here. And these are estimations. I have no way of knowing exactly where we're headed, but just to kind of give us a rough idea of what's going on here. So I also have this parallel channel drawn here, which we've been consolidating in, and many have drawn this as a pizza-shaped wedge, what have you. It doesn't really make any difference to me either way. Just it's easier for me to draw this. Now also I have these green squiggly lines, and what are those? Well, let's go to the daily chart, because this is a tale of Gaussian channels. And on the daily chart, you can see that those are extensions of the daily Gaussian channel. Now, we've fallen below the bottom of the Gaussian channel, and in fact it has turned red. And that might be alarming to some of you, but if you go back historically again, and let's go back to, let's go way back here. I like 2015 better. Well, even you can go all the way back here to 2014. Even here, now here we fell down quite a bit, and I don't think we're going there. But typically, when we fall below the bottom of the mean band, we shoot right back up through it, and we've done it here. But let's look to bull market times where we've done it. This is coming up off of our bottom. So here, this would be a good example where we've come up off of the bottom, broken below the mean band, and it's turned red, and then we shot right back up through it. Broken below the Gaussian channel, it's turned red, we've shot right back up through it. Many times in our bull run, we fall out the bottom of the Gaussian channel on the daily, and this would be an example of what happened in March recently, when we had the FUD from the SEC and the New York District Attorney's Office going after Kraken and Coinbase, and fallen below and shot right back up through it. Many times in 2015-16, fell into the daily Gaussian channel, fell through the daily and Gaussian channel, and shoot right back up through it, down and through, down and through. That's a bad one right there, but that's COVID right there. Anyway, a lot of times when we come down and just out the bottom of the Gaussian channel on the daily chart, we shoot right back up through. So here we are today. We've come out the bottom of the Gaussian channel, and we are currently entering back into the Gaussian channel on the daily time frame. And what we've done actually in just the past couple of days. Let me get this off of auto. In the past couple of days, we've come back into the daily Gaussian channel. Let me make this even a little bit bigger. And you can see that we're retesting the bottom of the daily and holding it. So that's telling me that we are going to continue on upward here. And typically we move quickly through the daily, back up quickly through the daily, which will bring us up here to the top of the weekly Gaussian channel. Now we've spent enough time consolidating in the weekly Gaussian channel between the mean band and the top. that it's time for our breakthrough. We can't stay in here anymore. We're about to explode. So typically when we break out of the top of the Gaussian channel on the weekly time frame, we shoot upwards, 30% and 90%. I think it was 30%, maybe 80%. I think it was in 20. It was 30% in 2016 and 80% in 2019 or 20. And so where would that take us here? A 30% move here would be off of our chart currently. It would be way up at 30. Where would it be? You know what? Oh, that's very interesting. It would be right where I have this white line drawn, and that is at 37,711 because I think that is a really cool number. And where else is that consistent with? That's consistent with this support level here. And if I go on to a daily, I am on a daily. Am I? Oh, I am on a daily. So if I just expand it a little bit more, you can see how it was support, much support and resistance here. And back here in 2021, as well as here in this time range, and even back here in the beginning of 2021. So we have a lot of daily candles opening and closing on that line. Are we going to shoot up that far? I don't know. That's a pretty big move. Now, another thing we do have to do, I believe, is that we have to test the top of this weekly Gaussian channel. Let's go on the weekly time frame and see what we've done in the past. Let me put this on auto. Here in 2015, 2016, we shot up here. Remember, this was a 30% move here. It doesn't look like that much. But if I zoom out here, we came up through here. That was a 30% move right there, 32. And then we came back down, and this is on a weekly time frame, so maybe about a month or so later, came back down and retested the top of this weekly Gaussian channel. Now we did that before it turned green, before it started curving back upwards. What did we do in our next bottom? We came through, retested it immediately just a couple weeks later and shot back up. But remember, this was too strong, and that also was well before it started to curve upwards. And because we moved through too quickly, we came back down and fell back in, and that's that. This time around, if we want to, this should turn green around here towards the end of July sometime and start curving back upwards. That is assuming that we do break upwards here. And here's our green lines from the daily Gaussian channel. So I'm just, this is what I see. I see us heading up here, shooting through the daily as we've done in the past, bringing us to the top of the weekly, shooting through there. Are we going to come all the way up here? Very possibly. But this time around, I don't see us shooting all the way up here and coming back down. I know people call for 40% retracements from upward movements, and that's a load of BS because we're not making the moves that we made in the past where we had 80% moves upwards and then 40% moves downwards. If we make a 30% move upwards, maybe we see a 10% move downwards, something like that, or maybe 15, 20. We're not going to see 40% breakdowns from any upward movements that we make. That's ridiculous, especially with the accumulation that's going on and the halving event just around the corner. So I don't necessarily think that we will break up this far. I think that maybe we'll come around here to the $32,000 range and then come back down and retest the top here. Now, while we're here, I do want to show this fractal pattern that I pulled from over here. I pulled it from right here. And it's the fractal I drew on the daily, so it doesn't look the same here on the weekly. But it's very similar to what we have going. You know what? Let's go to the daily. I showed this in a previous video. And it's just very similar to what we have going on here. What am I moving? No, don't want to move that. If you see here, the consolidation is very, very similar. And then we moved upwards. And the price action is very, very similar as well to this parallel channel that we've been trading in. So these things that are all lining up with one another just add support to the view that of where we're going. So that was just something extra I wanted to show while I had it there. Now here, let's go to where I think we're going. Okay, so before I do that, well, we do have this parallel channel, the other things that are on this chart, and this is a parallel channel that we've been trading in ever since the FTX collapse. And you can see how we've been trading in this zone. Now we're out of the channel right now. We need to get back up into the channel, so we will. Don't worry. And then we have these purple lines. If we go to the weekly time frame now, those purple lines are the slopes of the path we followed in the past in 2015 and 2016 when we were in the first part of the bull run and then the parabolic move of the bull run. And I've copied them over to here. So it's just kind of a guideline of where we should be going. This white X is left over. That's a prediction I have of where we'll be in November at $58,000. And now let's go to the hourly and click on this line, make it visible on the daily and weekly. And I think this gives us a good idea of where we're going. I think we might do something like this. Where we're coming up here, we're shooting through the daily. We're this level, 28,800, is a major level of support and resistance that we're going to have a hard time getting through. So we might see some consolidation here where we're trying to get through there. We charge up and we break up to a point where a lot of people are calling for here at $32,000, $33,000, which coincide with other things that they're looking at the charts. We come back down and retest here before we start curving back upwards. And where is this? This is about the second week of July, after the 4th of July. And then we retest the top of this 28,800 area and continue our move on upward back into our parallel channel, consistent with the slope that we've moved in the past, and head upwards here. And it gives us another consolidation right here around the $37,000, 37,711 level. So that's it. Like, subscribe, and I've rambled on long enough. We'll see you next time. Thanks.